guys, welcome to Coturnix Corner Live. I'm glad to see everybody checking in so far today. If you guys would let me know how my audio sounds. Looks like I might be up a little bit loud. Let me turn that down just a little bit. Yeah, if you would let me know how my audio sounds. We have a really interesting lineup for you guys tonight. Martin Yardley has put together a slideshow explaining the different color varieties in Coturnix, and it's really interesting, guys. You're going to love this one. But due to bandwidth restrictions, Martin was not physically able to come on the show today, but he did create a voiceover that we put together with the okay, thanks Henriette, thank you Lauren, appreciate it. Good, sounds okay. But anyhow, like I say, he did put together a voiceover that is going to go along with the slideshow, and he'll be explaining the different colors and different mutations of Coturnix, along with some photos. So I think you guys are really going to enjoy that. But as always, I do have a couple quick announcements that I need to make. First off, big shout out to our channel supporters, Southwest Game Birds and HatchingTime.com. Hatching Time has donated another $50 gift certificate to be given away on tonight's show. And I just want to point out on Southwest Game Birds, Michael has officially released the new Calico line. It's the Calico and the Calico Fee. So you can now place your orders for them on his website, southwestgamebirds.com. And don't forget to use the coupon code Coturnix Corner when you check out, and you can get a 10% discount off your order if you use that code. So I've got the both versions. I've got the regular version of Calico and the Fee version in the incubator now, and I'm really excited because they go into lockdown in 4 days. So that's going to be real exciting to see that match out. Also, I want to mention our other live stream, which we do on Fridays at 7:30 p.m. It's called Shop Talk Live, and we do live workshops, discussions, and every other Friday we do a beginner's course. The first one was last week Friday, and it was it's basically getting started with Coturnix. So for those of you who are new to Coturnix, that might be of interest to you. It's on the channel. Also over on the channel is our Coturnix Quail Color Genetics, which is hosted by Allie of Maine's Confetti Quail Farm. I think there's a half a dozen videos in that playlist, and you can check that out. Allie's got a whole bunch of really good information in there, especially if you're new to birds. Let's see. One thing I do want to mention, guys, is due to my work schedule now, my work has just totally screwed up everything that I got kind of used to over the past year. So live streams are going to have to now be on a week-by-week basis. And I really won't know until like the day before. So I'm not going to be scheduling guests unless I can find, guests that are, kind of like on will call. I can call them at the last minute and they can come on the show. So it will be announced over on the Coturnix Corner Facebook group page. As always, we always post something to do with the lives. So. Also, I want to give a big shout out to our moderators, Lauren and Henriette. I appreciate both of you ladies being in here to help us out over there in the chat room. Another thing that I'm going to do, guys, since Martin is not here to take your questions in the chat room, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a post and pin it to featured over on the Coturnix Corner Facebook group. And if you have any questions specifically for Martin Yardley, post them over there, and I'll make sure that Martin gets in there, and checks it on a daily basis or something to answer your questions. Because a lot of the stuff that's coming up, I mean, it's good for the beginner, but it's also good for, you know, people that are more advanced and just want to learn a little bit more about colors. Okay, so we've got our hatching time gift certificate, which will be given away tonight. That's $50 gift certificate going to somebody. If I didn't line anybody up today for hatching eggs, but if you guys want hatching eggs, I'll go ahead and throw in a 30 count of mixed hatching eggs out of my flock here. So if you're interested in getting the hatching eggs, comment something like, you know, hatching eggs, or, you know, something along them lines. That way I know that we're not going to send them out to somebody that's, you know, not ready for them. And I just want to say I can't guarantee anything that you're going to get with my stuff. I have several different lines that I'm working with right now, so I will try to put something together that's interesting, and, you know, hopefully you guys will enjoy them. Okay, let's see. We got 77 people in here watching right now. I am going to go ahead and key up the video. The video is see, Klaus is in the house and he's ready for hatching eggs. I am going to go ahead and key up that video. It is like a 25-minute long video, but it's very interesting. And I do want to mention one thing. I'm keying up a video that is in high definition. I have two versions. I have a high def version and a version that is of lower quality. But I think the high def version will play because there's not a whole lot of movement. It's mostly photos, so it should play okay. But if it does freeze, guys, just be patient. And if it won't play at all, I'll key up the other version. So go ahead, we'll key that up, and we'll see you on the other end of the video. Enjoy, guys.
Right, so Terry wanted me to do a bit about myself before I talked about quail, which I would rather not, but we'll tell a bit. I first got quail because I was in market and there had been a lot coming that day, and a mate that'd been going there a lot longer than me told me whatever I did, I was not to buy any quail. And so I bought about half the birds in the market, not knowing anything about them. And since then I've reared about 20,000. Yeah. So, onto the genetic stuff. The first image is a pure Pharaoh pair with the hen on the left and the cockbird on the right. Pretty simple to tell apart. Speckles on the hen's breast and creamer coloured, and rust coloured breast on the cockbird. The second photo is some 6-week-old hens. On the left, Pharaoh, so pure wild type. On the centre is an Italian, so heterozygous fawn, and on the right is a Manchurian, so homozygous fawn. The Italian is quite simple to recognise, very yellow base colour with a mix of black and red spots on the back. For feather sexing it's the same as Pharaoh's, pretty simple. The Manchurian, compared to the Italian, will have next to no red spots on the back and less of the black spots, and as it ages will have a clear breast with no spots on it, on the hens. The third photo is a Manchurian pair, so homozygous fawn. As you can see, the cocks have a lot less markings on the back than the hens, and no markings on the breast at all, as opposed to a few down the edges on hens or some on the young hens. Cocks also generally have a paler colour around the head, so brown or rust rather than black or dark brown. Yeah, simple to feather sex, but have to go off the head or back markings rather than the breast markings, although there is a slight difference in shade on the breast markings. The markings on the birds will decrease on any fawn as they age, so younger birds up till 4 weeks, even Manchurian hens, will have a lot of speckles on the breast, whereas older birds will keep losing it as they age. The fourth photo is an Italian pair, so you can see a lot more markings on the backs and breast on the hens. The red markings present on both sexes as well. These are pretty simple to feather sex, as you can see. Less markings on the head for the hen but darker, more but paler markings on the head for the cock, and a darker base colour on the breast for the cock, and speckles on the breast for the hen. Final photo in this batch is a Manchurian cock on the left, so homozygous fawn. Centre is an Italian cock, so heterozygous fawn, and on the right is a Pharaoh cock, so wild type. Again, you can see pretty much the same, homozygous fawn with very little markings of any colour and a dark gold colour all over. Heterozygous fawn with a lot of red and black markings on the back and a gold colour on the rest of the body. And again, pure wild type with a rust coloured breast and a brown back with gold feather pinning. Second batch of photos is extended black. On the left in both photos is a pure Pharaoh hen. In the centre is a Rosetta with no other genes, and on the right is a Tibetan. The Rosetta and Tibetan aren't feather sexable, so cocks and hens will look very similar. However, there is slight differences, especially in Rosetta, where the cocks will be in general more red. However, this can be affected by sex-linked brown or fawn as well. The Rosetta still have the gold centre feather pinning that the Pharaohs do on the back. However, it is a lot finer and less prominent. They do not have the cream coloured breast and instead have a black and brown barred colouring on the breast. The Tibetans are slightly darker than the Rosetta and lack the centre feather pinning, gold centre feather pinning down the back and on some of the other feathers. They can still have some barring on the feathers and the black and brown barring on the breast. You will notice on the Rosetta there is white under the beak. This is not caused by tuxedo or by dotted white gene. This is the extended black gene, which can cause minimal amounts of white on the breast or chin. The feet on the Rosetta and Tibetans will generally be a mix of light and dark skin, with the Tibetans more likely to have solid dark feet. However, this generally only occurs with a lot of selection. What I forgot to mention before is fawn is at the agouti or acip locus, and extended black is at the black or MC1R locus. Both of the genes we've talked about so far are autosomal incomplete dominant, meaning they overpower wild type in both heterozygous and homozygous, but heterozygous and homozygous present differently in the phenotype. The next batch of photos, third batch for Terry, is sparkly. The first of these has a homozygous sparkly cock on the left, a heterozygous sparkly cock on the centre, and a pure Pharaoh cock on the right, as does the second. You can see on the heterozygous sparkly cock centre, it's got a slightly darker back than the pure Pharaoh, with slightly more barring on the wing coverts, and the breast is a much darker maroon colour rather than rust, and has a white centre feather pinning on the feathers instead of being the same colour all over. On the homozygous sparkly cock, you can see the back has become a much darker, almost black undershade with gold and maroon barring and very little gold centre pinning on any of the feathers. It is present on some, but only very minor. The breast, you can see in general has the same maroon base shade as the heterozygous cock, with the same white centre pinning. However, it is a lot less prominent. This is a young cockbird, however, and this will increase with age, as it has done on the heterozygous cockbird. The next batch of photos is, or carrying on the same batch, is a homozygous sparkly pair first, with the hen left and the cock on the right. The hen has a black and gold barring on the breast, as opposed to the cock having a maroon base colour with a gold centre pinning. The hen also has a darker and slightly duller back. The next photo down is a heterozygous sparkly pair with the cock on the left and the hen on the right. As you can see, the cock has a maroon coloured base feather to the breast feathers, base colour to the breast feathers, and a white centre pinning, and is a lot redder in tone than the hen. The hen has the black speckles with a cream base, the same as on Pharaoh. However, the speckles are a lot more regular and show right down through to the underbelly rather than just nearer the throat. The third photo is a pure Pharaoh pair. For comparison, you can see the speckles are nowhere near as regular or large on the hen and do not follow down under the belly, and the cock's breast is paler and lacking the white centre pinning. Fifth batch of photos is calicos. The first photo is all hens, all mature hens, with a pure Pharaoh on the left, a heterozygous calico centre, and a homozygous calico on the right, as is the following photo. As you can see, the heterozygous calico hen is lacking the majority of the speckles on the breast, however still has the same tone. The gold centre pinning on her back feathers is also a lot more prominent, and the wing coverts are a lot paler in shade. The homozygous calico hen you can see has a paler overall tone, with a much paler back, no speckles at all on the breast, and a more gold shade to the back, lacking a lot of the markings present on Pharaoh. The sixth batch of photos is blues, which the first photo is actually a pure Pharaoh pair for comparison. The second photo is a heterozygous blue pair with the hen on the left and the cock on the right. As you can see, they're a lot paler in shade than the Pharaohs, however still have the red tones the same, just any black tones diluted. The hen, you can see, still has the speckles on the breast. If you're trying to feather sex these birds, then the speckles will show up by far the best under an LED torchlight like the one on your phone. They can be feather sexed just the same as Pharaoh in that way, with the cocks having the rust coloured breast and the hens having the paler speckled breast. The third photo in this batch is a homozygous blue cockbird. You can see they're almost white in shade, but have a dark beak and eyes, or have a dark beak unlike dotted white birds, and still possess the Pharaoh markings, just extremely diluted. The seventh batch of photos is dotted white. So on the left, on the first photo, is an English white or homozygous dotted white. In the centre is a Pharaoh tuxedo, so heterozygous dotted white with no other genes, and on the right is a pure Pharaoh cockbird for comparison. As you can see, heterozygous gives a tuxedo marked appearance. However, on most Pharaoh lines that haven't been selected for this appearance, this will present as simply a few feathers on the breast or wings. The cockbird in the picture is off a line that's been selected for about 5 to 7 generations for tuxedo markings on the breast, giving them a proper tuxedo appearance. All of these birds only have the dotted white gene affecting them and no other gene. The next photo down has a dotted white bird on the left, or homozygous dotted white, so English white bird on the left, a heterozygous dotted white on homozygous EB base in the centre, so a Tibetan tuxedo, and a Tibetan on the right. The bird in the centre, as opposed to the pharaoh tuxedo, is how most Tibetan tuxedos will appear without selection. As extended black can show some white on birds without the dotted white gene, it also increases the white coverage on birds with the dotted white gene, meaning it's easier to breed the proper tuxedo markings. The English whites that are extended black based are generally very similar to the wild type based ones, however, although they can more regularly show as pure white birds not having any dots. Right, the 8th batch of photos. This gene isn't as common anywhere, but is one of my favourites, so I wanted to include it, is the white-winged pied gene. The bird on the left in the first photo is a homozygous white-winged pied on homozygous EB, so a Tibetan white-winged pied. The bird on the right is a homozygous EB, homozygous dotted white, so English white. As you can see, on the English white, the ideal markings and the most common is a white bird with a single dot on the head, as opposed to the white-winged pied, which present with nearly a tuxedo marking other than little to no colour on the wings, and breed true in this marking as opposed to tuxedos that don't. The next photo down, mentioning tuxedo, has a homozygous EB heterozygous dotted white on the left, so a Tibetan tuxedo. On the right has a homozygous EB homozygous white-winged pied, so a Tibetan white-winged pied. As you can see, the white-winged pied, whilst it had more colour than the English white, has a lot less colour on it than the tuxedo, and whereas the tuxedo when bred together will produce a quarter solid coloured birds, half tuxedo and a quarter English white, the white-winged pied when bred together will produce 100% white-winged pied. This is one of the original pens I had when the white-winged pied gene was first recorded, and one of the pens where my line, which has ended up becoming the most common through Adam and some others, has originated. These were a mixture of dotted white and white-winged pied birds that have been mistaken as just bad English whites and tuxedos. The next batch of photos, 9th batch, is fees. So the first is fouled fee and pharaoh cocks. On the left is a fouled fee, however it is only heterozygous fee. Homozygous fee would be lacking red tones completely, whereas this bird still has partial red tones showing. It is, however, very different to the pharaoh, with a white instead of rust coloured breast, and red tones lacking from the majority of the rest of the body. The next photo down is Graufi on the left and Rosetta on the right. Both are heterozygous EB, however Graufi can be heterozygous or homozygous EB. The Graufi then also has heterozygous Phi, which Graufi should ideally be homozygous Phi. The bird in question isn't, and still possesses a few red tones because of this. The next photo down is Pearl Phis. Both are homozygous fawn. Pearl Phi on the left and Manchurian on the right. Both hens, both are homozygous fawn. Pearl Phi can, however, be homozygous or heterozygous fawn. Again, as with the others, they should ideally be homozygous for Phi to remove all red tones. This bird is not, it is heterozygous 3 instead, meaning some of the red tones are still present. Again, up until this point, all of the genes we've talked about have been autosomal incomplete dominant, meaning they are not sex-linked, and one copy of the gene is enough to change wild-type appearance, and a second copy of the gene gives a different phenotype to one copy. However, the 10th batch of photos are Rook's birds, or Roo birds. This gene is sex-linked recessive, meaning hens can only have one copy of it, and whereas cocks can have two. Meaning hens either have it or don't, and cocks can either have it and display it, or be carriers, or not have it. On the first photo, and we also have sex-linked brown in these photos, which is again sex-linked recessive, and is recessive to Roo. On the left we have all these are hens. On the left we have an Egyptian hen, so Rook's on wild type. In the centre we have a sex-linked brown hen, so wild type just with the addition of sex-linked brown. And on the right we have a pure Pharaoh hen. The order of dominance for these is Pharaoh, Roo and sex-linked brown, meaning Pharaoh is dominant to Roo, Roo is recessive to Pharaoh but dominant to sex-linked brown, and sex-linked brown is dominant to both. Most lines that are called wild type or Pharaoh will be a mix of Pharaoh and sex-linked brown, and it can be difficult to ID between them. As you can see on the back, so the Pharaoh has a small red collar around the neck, whereas the red collar around the neck on the sex-linked brown extends much further back, and the whole body is a much paler, redder shade. The wing coverts on the sex-linked brown are generally also have fainter or sparser barring. The Egyptian is a lot more easily recognisable, with a red tone to the entire body. The next photo is Pharaoh and Egyptian cocks, with the Pharaoh on the left and the Egyptian, so wild type plus homozygous Roo, on the right. Again, the Egyptian has a much redder tone to the entire body, and the wing covert will be ash grey instead of black. The next photo down is an Italian cockbird on the left and a autumn amber cockbird on the right. So both are heterozygous fawn, but the autumn amber cockbird also has the Roo gene, homozygous. Again, a much redder tone to the entire body on the bird with Roo, and any block markings are turned to an ash grey colour, specifically the spots on the back and the wing coverts. The final photo shows an Egyptian hen on the left, a scarlet hen on the right, on the centre, and a range hen on the right. So the Egyptian is wild type or Pharaoh with the addition of Roo. The scarlet is Rosetta with the addition, so heterozygous extended black with the addition of Roo, and the range on the right is Tibetan, so homozygous extended black with the addition of Roo. Egyptian are feather sexable, as we have seen further up, with the hens possessing the same speckles on the breast as Pharaoh and the cocks possessing the same rust-coloured breast. However, the scarlet and the range are not feather sexable, as Rosetta and Tibetan aren't either. For the 11th batch of photos, I thought I would do a bit on sizes of quail. So on the first photo we have a bantam cockbird on the left, a standard cockbird centre, and a jumbo cockbird on the right. All are fully mature cockbirds, with showing the size differences on mature birds. The bantams will be 3 to 5 ounces, so 110 to 140 grams roughly. The standards will be 6 to 9 ounces, so 170 to 260 grams roughly, and the jumbos will be 10 ounces plus, at maturity, so 284 or 86 grams plus at maturity. All birds are weighed at maturity, with bantams reaching maturity at 6 weeks generally, standards at 8 and jumbos at 10. The weight ranges stated are for both cocks and hens. However, hens will generally be 10 to 20% heavier than the male counterparts in each size. Variation is found within all birds. However, the aim should be to keep lines as close to central in those weight ranges as possible. For jumbos, most lines will tend to be, or most good lines will tend to be 14 to 16 ounces at maturity. Any heavier is possible, and up to 19 ounces or heavier have been recorded. However, they tend to have much higher incidences of foot problems and leg problems. For the next photo, I thought I would show the difference in how different birds can weigh and look versus look. Both of the hens in the picture are from the same hatch, and off by memory are about 6 to 7 weeks old, maybe slightly older, might be nearer 10 actually. I can't remember the exact age, but both were from the same hatch, reared together their entire lives and treated exactly the same, simply off different lines. As you can see, the Manchurian hen on the left is far smaller in physical size than the blue hen on the right. However, both of these birds were weighed at the same time and on the date they were pictured, and both weighed 321 grams. The Manchurian hen was far more solid bird with tighter feathering and a much better fleshed breast, whereas the blue hen was a much framier bird but with not so great muscling and looser feathering. Whilst it may be counterintuitive, the blue hen would be the better hen to use for starting a line of jumbos, as whilst the Manchurian is better muscled, if she gets any heavier the frame simply won't be capable, or if the line was bred any heavier with the same type, they simply wouldn't be capable of handling their own weight with their structure. Whereas, as has been said before by other breeders, build the frame then hang the meat. The bluebird is much more capable of carrying far more weight if the line is selected to a greater size and then selected for fleshing ability once the frame is sufficient to handle it. I think that is everything covered. Thank you for having me, Terry. Thank you.
Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed that. I've seen it, multiple times already, and I still, every time I watch it, I pick up something else out of it. So, Martin, I don't know if you're watching or not, or if you see the rerun on this, but thank you very much for taking the time to put that together for us. What I'm going to do is, I've seen quite a few people ask if that was going to be available anywhere else, like on Facebook. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to post just the video segment of that over on the Facebook group page, so you guys can watch it over there. Also, I am going to send Martin a copy of it in case he wants to post that on his Facebook group page. So, yeah, it was great. I agree. Confused. It was amazing. And I'm glad that Martin took the time to to line up those birds and get those photos. I actually asked him in Messenger. I said, "How on earth did you get those birds to sit where you wanted and get a photo of them?" And he said that I agree, Klaus. That bantam was pretty cool looking. He said that there was two people. He had a professional photographer getting the shots while he was staging the birds. So, like I say, guys, if you have any questions specifically for Martin. I'm going to start a thread over on the Facebook group page, and you can ask your question there, and I'll ask Martin to come in and, on a daily basis and check it out until we get them taken care of. Lauren, I don't know. Martin, I don't think has a group, but he does have Martin Yardley is his Facebook page, and I think most of the stuff on there is public, so you don't even need to be a friend to go in there and see his photos and stuff. But anyhow, I hope you guys enjoyed that. I'm going to go ahead and start running through some of these questions real quick. Again, as far as the eggs go, if you're interested in getting or being put into the drawing for the 30 count of mixed hatching eggs, comment, hatching eggs, or I could use them, something like that, so I know, and we'll select one of you guys for that. Okay, where are we at here? Hazy Bees Honey, or Dave Smith says, hello everyone, checking in from Central Missouri, welcome. Kim Ramsey says, hey y'all, I'm ready for spring here in Montana, got some chicks hatching as we speak, love hatch day. I do too, Kim. I have a incubator full of eggs right now, and one of the early birds, not due to hatch till tomorrow, but the early bird was out tonight, so they're starting. Shane Thomas says, howdy everyone from Mars Hill, North Carolina. Howdy Shane, glad you can make it. Tony says, hi from Toronto. Welcome, Tony. Gary says, hello to one and all from Nebraska. Glad you can make it, Gary. Sarah says, hi from London, Ontario. Welcome, Sarah. Little Ridge Farm says, hello y'all from upstate New York. I'll be sharing the start of my adventure soon. Cool. Donna's in the house, says, hey everyone. I made my feeder thing out of the rectangular plastic container. Yahoo, except I found one of the new quails I just brought home inside of it. I guess I made the holes too big. Yeah, especially if they're younger birds, they will jump in and out of it. I've had that happen before. Let's see. Donna says, also when I was bringing them home on Saturday, one got out of the cage and I was having a good old time playing around in the car. Is this normal or just me? Yeah, I guess it could be kind of exciting. Ashton says, hello from Texas. Welcome, Ashton. Lauren's in the house, one of our moderators. Good evening all. Chilly here in Pennsylvania again, but got chicks hatching tonight. Woo! All right. Good luck on the hatch. Dennis says, good evening to all. Tim Baldridge's in the house. Hey, everyone. And here's our other moderator, Henriette's in the house. Hello, everyone. Hope all is doing well. I'm skipping over the comments that are for other people. There's no need for me to read those. Adirondack Quail and Duck Ranch says, hello from northern New York. Trucker Planet's in the house. Good evening, everyone. I hope everyone's having a great evening. Can't wait for the live to get started. Rhinette Poultry's in the house. Good evening, all from North Carolina. Welcome. I just saw something. I don't know if it was North Carolina. Something about the avian influenza. They actually found it in flocks now. I know last week when I heard about it, it was only in wild bird populations, but now they're saying that it's actually in poultry flocks. So kind of keep an eye out for that. Knock on wood, it's not in Florida yet, or as far as in flocks yet, but keep up on your protocols. Tiffany is in the house. Hello from Arizona and still in the office working. Hope you're enjoying the show from work. Jeff Martin says, hey all, pajama family. Good evening from Michigan. Jessica's in the house. Hi from Iowa. Okay, you got a few people saying the audio is great. Freedom Quail Farm says hello. Klaus is in the house. Welcome, Klaus. Glad you could join us from the Netherlands. Donna says, great. Okay, talking about the audio. Joy Guthrie says, hi, all from Western Oregon. Welcome, Joy. Glad you could make it. A bunch of audio comments. Bird Dog Quail Farm says hello from Nashville, Tennessee. Prayers that they remove this cancer tumor next Monday. Oh, yeah, good luck on that. Hope all goes well for you. Dennis says sounds great here in Missouri. Tim says, question, I have 4-week-old feathers out that are needing to be moved into an unheated garage. Any special precautions I could take? No, I mean, as long as they're fully feathered out, 4 weeks old, for me, they would already be outside, probably closer to 3 weeks. But no, if they're fully feathered and you've got, you know, a bunch of birds, I won't say a bunch, but, you know, more than, you know, 1 or 2, they can always, you know, snuggle together to warm up, so they should be fine. As long as they're out of direct wind, you know, they can handle the cold weather. Let's see, not talking to me. Ashton says, I ordered my calico fees. Cool. Karen says, hello everyone, excited. I got my Coturnix Jumbo Mix coming this week. So excited. Cool. Good luck on those. Marcus says, hello from Victoria, British Columbia. Can't wait for the show. I have my first run of quail to sort through next week. Looking forward to the information. Great. Glad you can make it. Genuine Toe Tags says, it's a small chance, but I could. It's a small chance, but I could. But if the gift card, oh, I could put the gift card to good use. Okay, gotcha. Genuine Toe Tag. I'll remember that, buddy. Not talking to me. Peg P's in the house. Hello from Northern California. 3932L says hello from Elkton, Tennessee. Don't worry, Terry. This is from Tiffany. Don't worry, Terry. I'm still at work. We get it. Kim says hello from Tennessee. Big thanks to the moderators. Absolutely. The moderators keep things running nice and smooth. And I appreciate their help 100%. Ashton says, I recently purchased a GQF 1502. I'd like to set eggs every 7 days, but was curious if I could incubate and lock down at the same time. Was thinking about keeping a steady 55% humidity. Would this work? I mean, I hate to say no, because you can do it. I don't like the high humidity levels. You're going to have eggs that are going to be absorbing way too much moisture, which is going to cause issues with hatch rates. If I were you, I would use the GQF as a incubator and pick up something else to use as a lockdown box. The nice thing about a lockdown box is it doesn't have to be, you know, as exact as the GQF or your incubator. You want your incubation temperatures to be, you know, pretty spot on, as well as your humidity. But you could use the GQF as an incubator only, and then you know, find something a little bit cheaper that you could use as a lockdown box. I mean, you could try it. I don't like that 55% humidity. That to me seems awful high. And I think you might run into some issues with that. Michelle says, me, I want hatching eggs. Okay. Ashton said hatching eggs. Okay, we're a bunch of people. Klaus is ready for hatching eggs. Buddy, if I could ship to you, you know I would. And good luck finding the guy that stole your birds. Ryan Poultry and Aviary says, I would love to have some of your hatching eggs. Okay, I'm skipping over all these hatching egg comments. Already read that. Let's see. I don't want to skip any of these people I haven't mentioned. Kim's in the house. Gary is in the house. Jalopy Guy's in the house. Hatching eggs needed in Washington. Bird Dog Quail Farm. Do not forget to hit the like button. Yeah, you guys can do that if you want. Dale's in the house. Good evening from Winter Haven, Florida. Welcome, Dale. Glad you could make it. Talking to Klaus. Watkins Wildlife says, we love hatching time. We want the cage. I've got one more cage out there I've got to put together yet. Oh, also, guys, I have a probably this, if not this coming weekend, maybe the first part of next week. I got a new thing coming from Hatching Time that they want me to review for you guys, or to show you guys. It's not really going to be a review because you guys are already pretty. You already know that this product's coming out. They just sent me an early model wanting me to show how you install it. So I don't want to give it away. Let's see. Little Ridge Farm says, good to see everyone here. Dennis Peel says, eggs, eggs, eggs. Just finished my cages today. Need eggs, please. Steve Berry says, My Shire Farm should have been in your top 5 mentioned. They're great. Yeah, I mean, My Shire is fine, but if you watch the beginning of that video, I explain why some farms that I mentioned last year did not make it this year. Yeah, just rewatch the front half of that video and you'll understand why they're not in there. Sanford's Attic says, hatching eggs would be excellent. Henriette says, thanks, Martin, for your time doing this. We appreciate it absolutely 100%. I have been trying to get Martin to come on the show for a while. William Carl Foster has been, saying, keep on him. You'll get him in there. You'll get him. He's been nagging him to come on. So we, the whole thing about him coming on the show was he already explained to me that his internet connection is really poor there, and it would be more of a headache. So I said, look, send me pictures and maybe a voiceover or something, and we'll put something together. And I am so happy that he did, because this thing turned out a lot better than I thought it was going to. Michelle says, I wish I had these pictures even I very first started trying to understand the colors. So helpful. Absolutely. I agree. Glenn Wells says, CQ, howdy from Southwest Missouri. My DIY incubator has chicken egg pipping now as a test run for the wife. Cool. I'll need some quail eggs. Thanks, in 7-3. Perfect. Marius is in the house. Good to see you here, buddy. Hi, Terry. Wife just woke me up to start the generator for your show. Our power went out 10 minutes before your show started, and here we are. Cool. That's dedication. Glad you guys could make it, Marius. Appreciate that. Patrick says, we would love the Hatching Time gift card. Kim said, this is very interesting. Thank you. I agree. I think it was well worth the effort and time spent putting this one together. Genuine Toe Tag says, with your lower cages, do you have any problems with them not getting enough light? Not really. I mean, my shop is pretty well lit. And when I open up the shop for the day, all the doors are opened up. So all the doors, the door is opened up, which gets the morning sun. So it comes in and it pretty much shines in on all the cages. I haven't noticed anything with my lower cages not producing, as many eggs as the upper cages. So no, I wouldn't say it hasn't really bothered my birds any. Big P says, Terry, are you going to save this file as a file on Facebook page? I love this. Yes, just the video portion that we showed will be shared on Facebook. And like I said, I'm going to give it to Martin, and he'll probably want to share it on his site as well. Okay, Lauren said the same thing. I'm interested to hear what Terry says, but personally I did not have trouble with my lower cages. I added a string of Christmas lights around my entire tower. There you go. Tiffany says, question for Martin or Terry. What colors do you recommend for someone starting out? I only have JMF Jumbos currently. If you want to get into colors, but you like the jumbo lines, I would right now look into like jumbo Italians or Manchurians. The fawn line, there's a lot of people that already have them at jumbo size, and the nice thing about them is they're feather sexable still. So that's where I would go. It's nice to have a feather sexable bird, especially if you're just getting started, and it'll save you a lot of time and money, sorting your birds, because you pretty much know at 3 weeks what sexes you have. S. McKee's in the house says thumbs up 5 times. Cool. Michelle says extended black. First time hearing about that. Yeah, it kind of caught me off guard when I first heard Martin say it, but extended black, extended brown are pretty much the same thing. James Willis says, hey everyone, cleaning cages tonight. I did mine before we went live, so they are done. Jenna says, are the blacks a jumbo bird or a standard? I believe right now they're just standard sizes. I don't know of anybody that has jumbo blacks. Peg P says, thank you, Terry. These pics are wonderful. Absolutely. I was as happy to get them as you guys. I mean, it was really nice. What we did was Martin sent me a whole bunch of photos, and at first he sent me a text description of the photos, and then I asked him, I said, could you do a voiceover? And we had to go through a little, running around to get the voiceover done correctly. But yeah, with the voiceover, and then I brought it into Premiere, laid it on a timeline, edited it out, added the text to it. So in case you guys didn't understand what Martin was saying, the text was right there on each of the images. So yeah, it turned out really nice, and I was happy with it. Little Ridge Farm says, snuggling up with my daughter watching tonight. We lost my mom Saturday night. Oh, and she's missing her Nana. I am so sorry to hear that. So sorry. But I'm glad you could join us tonight. Michelle says, sparkly is one of my favorites. Mine too. I do like the sparklies. Okay, a lot of people talking to Little Ridge. Jackie Watkins says, been waiting on Terry to start his. Eggs, would love to get a set. I want to say, guys, that I don't ship or sell that many eggs. I just threw these in tonight because I didn't have anybody else lined up. None of you guys like to get eggs in. And I'm producing enough eggs now to where, I can go through and select, 30 eggs for you guys. Let's see. Shane says, I love everything Terry has done for the community. I would be more excited to get a setting of his eggs than I would be for any other breeder. Well, that's cool. I get a hold of Michael over at Southwest Game Birds. He's got, I have a lot of his stuff too, but he's got some really nice lines. Donna says, what is the difference between Pharaoh, hetero, and homozygous? Okay, Pharaoh is going to be your base, and a Pharaoh that is bred with a bird that is carrying one copy of a gene, or heterozygous, is going to produce one phenotype. And if it's bred with a bird that's carrying 2 copies of the gene, or homozygous, it's going to be a different phenotype. So basically, we'll talk about Italians. If you have your base, which is Pharaoh, if you add 1 fawn gene to it, it's going to give you an Italian. If you add a bird that is, the one fawn gene is heterozygous. If you add 2 fawn gene, it makes it homozygous, or it's homozygous. So you will have with 1, you'll have an Italian. With 2, you will have a Manchurian. So Donna, just go through those photos a lot that we just went through, and you'll kind of pick up on all the different heterozygous, like with the different mutations. He shows, the base, and then what the heterozygous and what the homozygous is. So yeah, you'll pick up on it. It comes. Little Ridge Farm says, everyone is welcome to join us on our journey coming soon. I take it you might be putting together a channel. Cool. Henriette says, does anyone know anything if you can ship eggs yet? Henriette, if you're talking about shipping from the U.S. to Africa, I do not know. I had eggs supposedly coming in from Germany that never made it. They got hung up in customs, and so who knows what happened there. Trudy Maddox says, I have hatching time cages. One has 1 3/4 inch by 3/4 bottom. Is this all right for quail? 1 3/4 by 3/4. I wouldn't put any of your smaller birds in there. Maybe a jumbo line. I do have the partridge flooring in some of my hatching time cages, and it works out really good for adult birds, especially the jumbos. But I don't think I would put the smaller birds in there because I wouldn't want their feet to fall through and potentially break a leg or something. James says, yeah, getting eggs from him would up me breeders. Okay, cool. Sarah says, I just love all these birds. There are so many awesome colors. I wish they were all easy to sex. Yeah, that would make it easier. But yeah, there are some beautiful colors out there. And that's kind of why I went into this year cleaning up all my lines. And I'm going to be working with, several different mutations. Yeah, okay, not talking to me. Michelle says, calico and white-winged pied are the hardest for me to identify and understand. I agree 100%. Because I know I've had tuxes that I probably would have identified as a white-winged pied had I knew a little bit more about them, but they were just, your basic tuxedo. Okay, Marius is saying, I'm struggling for almost 2 years to get eggs from anyone in America to ship to South Africa. Yeah, I feel your pain there, Marius. I don't know what's going on with shipping out of the country. I don't ship out of the country. I think, if I'm not mistaken, when it is available, Michael Rose from Southwest Game Birds ships out of the country. So, Little Ridge Farm says pearl feet are so beautiful. Yes, they are. Donna says, I wish this slideshow could be turned into a book. I would love to buy it in a heartbeat. I will not be able to remember this. Short-term memory is going. Yeah, I hear you, Donna. Mine too. But download the video, save it on your computer, and you can refer back to it at any time. Shane Thomas says, Pearl has been a pet project of mine for a while. I am consistently getting 400 plus grand birds. Wow, nice. Sarah says, I thought I had 2 Italians, but now I think one is Italian and one is Manchurian. They are slightly different. My Manchurian is the friendliest bird. Cool. Yeah, look for the reds in there. I mean, I think he showed the side by side with the Italian and the Manchurian, and you can definitely see a difference. Not talking to me. Robert says, hi from Minnesota. I love the Fab Fee and would like to get some in tuxedo. What would I use to get Fab Fee tuxedos? Can use new hatching eggs. Basically, just start out with it's just basically just a farrow with a feed gene and breed it to a recessive white or an English white, and you will produce some tuxedos. Henriette says, I must also say that we have about 5 aggressive female pharaohs, and we had some struggles to get a male with them. We finally made the breakthrough with a Tibetan male. They did not attack him yet. Every once in a while I'll get an aggressive hen that decides to pick on a rooster or a male, especially if he's smaller than them. But for the most part, most of my birds are pretty mellow. I don't think at all this year I've had anything that had to be, taken out and put in a hospital cage because she got, scalped or anything. So, Canboom 100 says, if anyone's looking for coated half by half for cage floors and don't want to spend a ton of money for a roll, check Wildlife Control Supply. They have 24 by 36 coated panels for $13, so $13 a cage. Yeah, I guess if you want to spend that money. I prefer to buy it by the roll though. Not talking to me. Rainbow Magic Treasure Chest says, sorry I'm late. No problem. Whenever you get here is fine with us. We still have quite a few people in here. Tiffany says, don't forget to like. Yep, thank you. I appreciate that. One day 268's in the house hatching eggs. Not talking to me. Michelle says, that size versus weight selection was very insightful. Yeah, I agree. Frame first, then put on the meat. I mean, that's a perfect way of looking at it. Kim says, thank you for your time and photos. That thank you should go to Martin Yardley. Flew the Coop Farm says, hatching eggs. Michelle says, I'm going to need to watch like 9 more times. Confused says, that was great. I agree. Peg P says, fabulous presentation. I agree with that 100%. Glenn Wells says, I'm going to have to watch this again. Yeah, I've seen it probably, well, between editing and actually playing it back to make sure that I could stream it, I think I've seen it like 4 times now, and every time I pick something up on it. So Kim also says, great presentation. Klaus says, that Bantam at 140 grams made my day. Yeah, he was a cutie, wasn't he? Let's see. Donna says, sure did. We'll probably be watching it over again and again. Kevin says, very good. Thank you. What is Martin's Facebook group? Yeah, like I said earlier, I don't think he's got a group page per se. Martin is in the Quail Colors and Genetics group quite a bit. I don't know if that's his group or not. Matter of fact, I don't even know who runs that group, but he's always in there answering questions, so you could, check that one out. Martin says, hatching egg. I had no idea a bantam size class for quail existed. That's cool. Yep. Yeah, neither did I, really. I mean, I think it was William Carl Foster that explained that to me first, that there's bantams, standards, and jumbo size. Michael Perry says, great. Shane Thomas says, build the frame, then hang the weight. Lots of wisdom in that statement. Absolutely. Agree 100%. Adirondack Quail Farm says, great. So Rushing says, Martin had a Facebook group. I don't know, Michelle. Like I say, I know he's in the Coturnix Quail Colors and Genetics. He's in there all the time. And that may be his group. I don't know. Dennis says that was great info on colors and a little on genetics. I agree. Lauren says, okay, thanks. I don't think she's talking to me. La Rochelle Farm's in the house. Hello, all. Better late than never. Kiddos soccer practice. Absolutely. Glad you can make it, buddy. Lauren says, me, I want hatching eggs. Hey, Lauren, aren't you sending me some eggs? Didn't we talk not too long ago? Mac Lamb says, show me the eggs. Aaron says, just starting out, I could use some eggs. Emelina, I hope I said that right. I could use those hatching eggs. Kim says, would love the hatching eggs. Michael Perry says, hatching eggs. Barbara, not even going to try to pronounce the back name, would love to be part of the hatching eggs. Great video. Barbie from Florida. Marius says, hatching eggs, please. Sorry, Marius, I can't ship to Africa or South Africa. Mark says, talking to Lauren, it looks like I'll have to watch the replay. Yeah, watch it, Mark. Really good information there. Okay, Lauren says, yes, Martin is an admin of the Coturnix Quail Colors and Genetics group. Cool. Lauren, if you can copy the link to that page and post it here. She already did. Boy, you read my mind. Thank you very much, Lauren. Appreciate it. Shell Rushing says, chicks. Bird Dog Quail Farm says, hello, Mark. Kids will keep you busy. Michelle says, yeah, you'll definitely want to watch the replay. Lauren talking to Mark. Tons of info about the different colors, side-by-side shots, comparing heterozygous, homozygous, and farrow. Hatching eggs, quail, yeah. Michael says, hope my eggs end up all right. Humidity, got the humidity up to 33%. That's what I incubate at. Anywhere between 30 and 35% that's what I shoot for to incubate at, and then I bump it up to between 55 and 60% for lockdown. Salvador's in the house. Welcome, Salvador. Good to see you here. Lauren says it's in North Carolina, Indiana, Virginia, and one other state. Flocks and wild birds. Yeah, the avian influenza. So, Michael Rose is in the house. Hi, everyone. This was a great video. Thanks for all the hard work, Martin. Absolutely. Michelle Farm says hatching eggs. I'm waiting to get yours, buddy. Michelle says, Terry, what happened to your wrist? Old guitar injury. I mean, it's not really guitar injury. I've abused my wrist over the years from, wrenching and pounding on stuff when I shouldn't have been. Just over abuse, and I think arthritis is setting in, and sometimes it gets painful. And it really gets painful when I play guitar. Jackie Watkins says, hi Terry, how are you? I am just fine. Kim says, I just heard it's lower Kentucky, okay? Donna says, yes, the influenza is in poultry flock in, I think, Pennsylvania and somewhere else. Best places to order eggs from, check out Michael at Southwest Game Birds. If you use the coupon code Coturnix Corner when you check out, you can get 10% off of any order. Okay, Michelle says the same thing. Mary Ann says, greeting from Miami, Florida. Please enter me in your egg drawing. Thank you. We will do that. Let's see. Rhinet Poultry and Aviary says, Kansas and a state that starts with an I. My memory sucks. They had it in a commercial turkey farm. I've not heard of any commercial effects in North Carolina yet. Just migratory birds. Mine are in a barn. I did hear something about 20,000 turkeys had to be put down, but I also heard it was in a somebody's chicken flock. So I don't know. Can't tell you where. I just caught it. Mark says, I just loaded the incubator this morning, so HP Murray eggs and test hatching my stock. Yeah, good luck on your HP eggs. I hope that little bit of a delay didn't mess them up. La Rochelle Farm says, can't wait until spring. Going to be a busy hatching time between chickens and quail. Yeah, I am just sticking with quail. I thought I was going to put in an order for like 15 or 30 silky eggs just to hatch them out, because silkies are so easy to sell around here. I mean, everybody and their brother is looking for them. But I don't think I want to get, because I've got the aviary out in the backyard and I've got quail out there, I don't think I want to get chickens out there also. Van Well says, newbie here. Hello, would love to get some eggs. Okay. Zachary says, testing my incubator out today. I could use some hatching eggs. Jalopy Guy says, hatching time gift certificate. G. Michael says, what type of feed do you give your quail? Do you raise or lower protein levels when they reach a certain eggs? I start out with a 30% game bird starter. And if that's out of stock, I buy it's a 28% turkey starter. And then when they reach, or when they start laying eggs, so usually between 8 and 10 weeks, I will transition them over to a 16% layer formula. And occasionally I will mix the layer formula with an 18% grower just to bump that protein up a little bit. But for the most part, 16% of my layers and 28 to 30% on my grow outs. Henriette says, we also started incubating on Friday last week. Excited for this batch. Dennis says, kudos to the moderators. Thank you. Absolutely. Tim says, I could use the gift card to purchase food troughs. Yep. Can Boom 100 says, question for anyone, first time hatch with 18 pearls at about 5 days old. One ran forward, then suddenly started running backwards. Is he just having fun? Usually that means when he's running backwards, he's getting ready to poop. I've noticed that in a lot of chicks. They'll back up for a second and then they'll squat and take a poop. So, Jackie Watkins says, Terry, our incubator went up to 107 on day 14. Will that hurt them? It depends on how long it was at 107. Yes, you can definitely cook them. I would go ahead and continue to, I mean, if you fix the temperature issue, but I would go ahead and continue to incubate them just to see what happens. Actually, day 14, you're ready to go into lockdown anyhow, so. Yeah, hopefully they'll be all right. Ashton says, thank you for your input. I appreciate it. Absolutely. The Rain Harvester says, hello, bird lovers. Hello, welcome. Yeah, Shane said if it was there long enough for the eggs to reach 107, I'm afraid that's bad news. Yeah, hopefully it didn't get that hot, or hopefully the eggs didn't get that hot. With the bird flu now in Kentucky, how will it affect quail farmers? As long as you don't have, a lot of people coming and going from your farm, you should be fine. And if your wild birds don't have access to, to your quail, I mean, odds of you getting it are pretty slim, but you want to take precautions, don't let anybody that raises, specifically turkeys, chickens, and other poultry, don't let them come into your quail room or around your quail until you know for a fact that their flock is currently AI clean. Aaron Downey said, just subscribe to your channel. Another great info for a newbie. Thank you. Appreciate it. Timothy says, Terry, how many holes are you putting in the incubator for ventilation? I have one on top, and the one on top is also the hole that I run the temperature sensor probe through. And then I have two on the side, one a little bit closer to the top, and then one about even with the lower hatching tray. I don't know why I'm using my phone as a model, but yeah, one's up towards the top, probably about 2 to 3 inches down from the top, and then below that is even with the lower hatching tray, hatching box or egg turner. Lauren says, if the temp was brought back down quickly, I wouldn't call it quits on the hatch. At day 14, I'd let it ride and see how many hatch. Only 4 days to go. Absolutely, I agree. Let it go. Tim was talking about the DIY incubator. Okay, I kind of figured you were. James Willis says you can just don't put the sponge in the water. Just keep the water in the water tray. Humidity shouldn't go. I don't know if you're not talking to me or not. Oliver says, hello, Terry. I need some of your hatching eggs. I am going to recommend all you people that want my hatching eggs to call Michael at Southwest Game Birds, because a lot of my stock comes from him. Michelle says, repeat that, Terry. What date are you showing the new hatching time thing? It'll probably be, they're not even here yet. I just got the tracking number yesterday. I think I tracked them this morning, and they were in Pennsylvania, so I expect to have them by the end of the week, and it'll probably be, first part of the week, maybe Monday or Tuesday. I'll try to start working on the video, so midweek next week, maybe towards the end of the week. Timothy Harris says, I need some hatching eggs. Everybody needs hatching eggs. James Willis says, I have the 1502 GQF also, or 2. Little Ridge Farm says, anyone use a Brinzia Ovation incubator? If so, how good is it? Excuse me. I haven't never used any of the Brinzias, but I have heard a lot of good things about them. Everybody that I've talked to that does use Brinzia are pretty happy with them, even with the lower end models. They say that they do a good job of hatching. Ashton says, I will do a trial and error. I agree 55% is probably high, but Lauren and yourself have both recommended that. maybe for lockdown. I don't think I've ever said 55% for incubation. Normally, you know, I consider 40 high. Yeah, no, I don't think I've ever said 55 is high. If I did, I want to say that I don't recommend it now, if I ever did say it. Okay, Shane says for the final 2 to 3 days, it's good to raise humidity 55 plus. That I agree with. Shane says, I personally have great success keeping at 35% till day 14 and jumping for 60 for the final days. Absolutely, that's exactly what I do. Tiffany says, thanks so much for the answer. I will look into the jumbo Italian / Manchurians. Oh yeah, for the jumbos, absolutely. I'm trying to think of. Talk to Michael at Southwest Game Birds. I am almost 100% sure that he has Italians and Manchurians in jumbo weights. I mean, I have some from him out there, and they have reached jumbo weight, so I'm sure they were from a jumbo line. Jeff Martin says, thanks to you and Martin for taking the time to do this. Absolutely. Jennifer says, hi Terry, we're newbies to quail hatching and was wondering any info on controlling humidity. We have the jumbo, Jumbin CBT 12 humidity is, we have jumbo incubator 12, humidity is 53%, wanted to get it under control before the eggs come. If your incubator has a vent on it, open the vent up a little bit to see if that will bring it down some. Check too if you have different water reservoirs. You might just be putting too much water in there to start with. I don't put any water in my incubator at all when I start incubating, but I'm in Florida and our humidity levels, you know, average right around 50%, you know, all the time. Right now I'm running the air conditioner in this room, and my incubator still is at 35% humidity with the air conditioner going. So that incubator is holding humidity really well. But yeah, check for vents on your incubator. Check that you don't have too much water, and by water I mean surface area of water in the incubator, and try to get it down around 35 to 40%. To incubate at, and you'll be fine for that. And obviously bringing it up isn't going to, I mean, even at 53%, if that's as high as you can get it, that's plenty good for lockdown. Tiffany says, you're spelling good. I'm not aware of any breeders of jumbo Italians yet, but let me know if you find any. Jumbo Pearl's a project of mine. Lauren, check with Michael also. I have Manchurians and Italians that I have reached jumbo weights, so, and they all came from Michael. One day 268, what's the difference between a jumbo meat maker and jumbo farrows like what Kansas City Quail Farm sells? A jumbo meat maker is a JMF line, which is James Marie Farm, and Kansas City Quail Farm was one of their referral farms. Jumbo farrows are for breeders or farms that are not JMF referral farms or JMF certified referral farms. They can't call theirs jumbo meat makers. They can call them jumbo farrows, just can't call them jumbo meat makers. So it's kind of a, when you see jumbo meat maker and jumbo egg makers, those are JMF line, trade, not really trademark, but a name that JMF put on their line, James Marie Farms. Moonblade says, hi from North Carolina. I'm actually making the incubator that you've done a video on. Cool. I have a question. What are the dimensions on the hatching box? Or could you do a video on how to make the hatching box? The reason I didn't include a video on the hatching box was because it's so simple. I mean, basically all you got to do is measure the width inside your incubator. I think my hatching box measures 15.5 inches wide by 16 inches deep. And all I used was 1x3s, you know, framed them out, glued them and tacked them together. And then I made a little cover to fit over top of it. Maybe one day I could do a video on it. I just thought, you know, for for something that simple, you know, people could just look at it and be able to make it. Donna says, I have to run, but I'm going to watch this again later. Thanks, Terry. Good night, all. Good night, Donna. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate it. Donna says, Terry, are you going to show us stages as you develop your new line? I really hadn't planned on it. I mean, right now I'm just cleaning up the bases, so you know that's pretty basic and pretty simple. But as I start developing, or as I start adding on mutations, we'll say, I don't know. To be honest with you, I really don't know. If I do, it will probably be more something like on Shop Talk Live and not on Coturnix Corner Live. Jennifer Nelson says, after watching your videos and seeing your birds, would love some of your eggs. You provide great info. Thanks. Appreciate it. As newbies, we all need to get the info. We need, as newbies, I'm going to start over on this one. As newbies, we need all the info we can get. LOL. Keep up the good work. Jennifer, check out the, there's only one show on the Coturnix Corner channel right now, but every Friday or every other Friday we're doing a Coturnix for Beginners series. That's going to be part of our Shop Talk series. A lot of real basic stuff in there, but the last week's show was Getting Started. That was basically for people that are just getting into quail. They don't know what equipment they need and that kind of stuff. So Jessica says, I had an aggressive hen. It turned out she was broody. I separated her and let her have 5 eggs. After her chicks grew up, I put her back in. She was fine. Cool. Shelly's in the house, says hatching eggs. Woman of Spirit says, I ordered my Lumia 16 today, so excited. Now I need to get some quail eggs. Thanks, Terry, for all you do. Absolutely. I believe you are going to love the Lumia 16. The one thing I want to warn you about on the Lumia 16, it kind of freaked me out the first time I set eggs, was when the turner isn't like the turner in the Real 49 or turners on like the you know, some of the other turners you use where they're constantly turning but just very slow. This turner will be like, say the eggs are positioned like this, all of a sudden you'll hear it go and it'll stand up straight, and then it'll sit for a while, and then it'll go and turn all the way over to the right. It's different, but I kind of like it. You know, it's not a constant slowly back and forth thing, and by hearing that turner working, you know that it's working. So Lauren says, yes, Martin is an admin of Coturnix Quail Colors and Genetics, and she also posted the link. So guys, check that out. If you have questions for Martin, I would suggest just going over there, you know, and tagging Martin in your question. Oliver Smith says, I'll buy your hatching egg. Sorry, Oliver, I don't sell hatching eggs right now. I just I didn't have anybody else to donate eggs tonight, so I thought I'd throw in some of my own. At what weight are birds considered jumbo? I think it's 350 grams. I think that's right. And yes, I'm sending you eggs as soon as I get the white out of my Tibetan. Lauren, in this video, did you watch where Martin got to the Rosettas and Tibetans? It's actually normal for Rosettas to have a little chin strap of white. I did not know that. I thought that was, you know, a recessive white in the bird, but it's not. That, according to Martin, that white in the Rosetta is a part of the extended black or extended brown. He calls them extended black, but so you can ship whenever you're ready. Tiffany says, so appreciative of the info tonight. I'm learning so much. Absolutely, I am too. David Smith says, hatching eggs, please. Jalopy Guy says, now that I see the Bantam, I'm going to have to build another tower rack for a whole nother line if I can find them Bantam chicks. Yeah, you might even be able to start your own line of Bantams. I mean, that would just be selective breeding for the smaller birds. Yeah. Karen says, I have the Ovation Brinzia 56 EX. Holds temperatures pretty good. Cool. Dennis says, Terry, surely you aren't old enough for arthritis yet. I'm 61 years old. I think I'm plenty old enough to get arthritis. I think I've had it since I was like 50. And a lot of times it's funny when I'm playing guitar now with my fret hand. If I don't change positions, quite often, my fingers fall asleep. It's almost like carpal tunnel type of deal going on. I guess you guys didn't think that I was that old, huh? Yeah, I am. I'm old. Wait, a drawing. I want to join. Everybody that Bird Dog Quail Farm says, Mark, great. Waiting to get this tumor removed Monday. I wish you all the luck in that. Rhineck Poultry and Aviary says, it's in several states now with the migration. I checked NPIP and AGR website every other day for the list, which does mentions what birds it was located in. Cool. Dennis says, what are the symptoms of AI and how do they present? I don't know. I've never seen a bird with AI. That's a good thing to look up, or maybe ask in one of the other. Kiki, I see Kiki's in the house. She might know because she runs the backyard chickens forum, so they might have a good idea of AI. So Kiki, if you know how AI presents itself, maybe you could enlighten us all. Oliver says, I'll trade you silky eggs for your hatching eggs. I don't know for a fact that I'm looking for silky eggs yet, but we'll see. One day says, if you could only find 20% game bird starter, how can you bump up the protein level? I've never seen a 20% game bird starter. The lowest I've seen a game bird starter was like 28%, and 30%, even 32% I know of. But to bump up protein levels, you could get, what do they call that stuff? Soy, and add soy. That will bump it up. Some people grind dry cat food. Dry cat food is really high. I think it's like 40% by volume. You can grind that up, mix it in with their food. If I were you, I would talk with your your feed store and ask them if they have anything of a little bit higher protein. Like a turkey starter is going to be higher than 20%. Bird Dog Quail Farm says, thanks Mark. Ordered 2 Barado 64 with pumps with tax returns. Cool. Good use of your tax returns. I don't use the pump. Matter of fact, I had 2 of them. I gave one away on one of our lives here, and I got the other one sitting up there on top of the shelf all wrapped up in the box. I'll probably never break it out again, but the only thing I used that for, I did, what video was it? Oh, it was a review on the Nurserite 360. I used that to test the actual humidity levels inside the 360 to compare it with what the 360 was saying. Terry says, I got 5 days to lockdown, 42 quail eggs. I need more eggs after this hatch. David Smith says, let's see if I can hit the right button here. When breeders say 3 or 4 generations, etc., is that breeding back to the first hen or root each time? I don't consider it that way. I look at it, my first generation is the birds I start out with. The second generations are the hens that I usually breed back to the father, and then I select from those to breed my third and fourth and fifth and so on. I don't keep taking birds from each generation and breeding them back to the original root. So I don't know if there's what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. And my brain's not working right now. So Michael G says, is the jury out on egg turners? Is it necessary? I recommend using egg turners if you have them. I have incubated eggs without them, but I would recommend using an egg turner if you have one. But I mean, a lot of people I know of at least 3 different breeders that lay their eggs on the side in a hatching tray and never touch them, and they say they're getting 50, 60, 70% hatch rate. So Donna says, how is everyone this influenza passed? Is it through humans or other birds? It's from other birds being exposed to your flock. Oh, there's the answer right there. Rhinic poultry is passed through migratory birds flying over or being in your yard and pooping, which can get crossed over to your birds and your ground easily, or by shoe spread. Yeah, that's why you want to keep people that have, other birds, whether they keep turkeys, chickens, quail, whatever. Until this thing's resolved, try to keep them away from your birds. Featherfoot Homestead. That's pretty cool how you put those feet in there. Feather feet, we'll call you. Hey Terry from down under Australia. I'm training 3 hens to go natural in the garden, organic type way. Do you have any good tips about free ranging in the backyard? To be honest with you, no, I don't. I don't free range any of my birds. I do have an aviary out back, but if I were you, I would contact Tamara Roselle. You can find her easily over on Facebook. She keeps a lot of birds outside. So does Katie Agali, and she's in Australia also. And they could probably help you out a little bit better than me. Free ranging here, I mean, if you mean free ranging like outside of a cage, it's not going to happen. One, they're not going to come back to roost at night like chickens will. But if you're talking about free ranging, like maybe having them in a chicken tractor or quail tractor, I don't do that either, so sorry. Mark says, Terry, expected delivery for yours are Friday. Cool. I hope they get there. Kiki says, Rev, you are in big trouble for not reminding me. Oh, don't. I like that. Don't. Mark says he was late as well. Terry, how many eggs you got on? If you're talking about how many eggs have given away, it's a 30 count. Okay, it looks like Kiki answered. AI will kill quick, sudden death, lack of energy, appetite, and coordination, purple discoloration and or swelling of the various body parts, diarrhea, and nausea. Cool. Appreciate that, Kiki. BYC forum is not mine. I'm really just an active member on them. I heard that you were the boss, Kiki. I heard you were the boss, so. Kyle Homewood says, anybody want any dotted white birds? I have some. Okay. Kiki said, I'm mad I'm late. Hi, everyone. Hi, Kiki. I like this. Mark says, also, Kiki, there's a thing called subscribe so you get notifications. Duh. Thanks, Mark. Glenn says, when I built my incubator, I put a vent at the bottom using the thinking that carbon dioxide is heavier than air and it would settle, then evacuate. I also put a small aquarium pump to give fresh air. Yeah, well, I mean, if it works, it works. Like I said, that DIY incubator was a project incubator that we put out there, and I encourage people to make modifications to it to find out what worked best and what didn't work. When I first built mine, I ran it for 6 months, pretty much nonstop around the clock, and before I even released it to the public, because I didn't want to do a video on it and then people come back and say, my birds are dying, or your incubator's not working, or whatever. So I tested it out for 6 months. It did really well. Shared that information with some people before the video went live, and theirs went well. So anyhow, Jeff says, just got the trays in for quail eggs in my incubator, so I need some hatching eggs. One day says, thanks for all your wisdom you share on this. Thank Martin Yardley. Kiki, I have to watch the replay. Good info from what I'm hearing. It's all chicken talks, I guess. Kiki says, hi guys. Yeah, Mark, I'll try to do it tonight if I can. I'm gonna upload just the video portion of it to the Facebook group page so people can watch it, just the video of it, or the video with Martin. One day says, I'm getting started on quail with many YouTube resources. Your organization and wealth of info from yourself and others you highlight in your channel are wonderful. Appreciate that. And that's the whole, reasoning behind the channel is to bring all breeders together and share information because, I mean, obviously I don't know everything. I know very little, guys. Let's see, says, Kiki, I can't do notification. I keep the sound off on my phone. Okay. They'll send you a text, Kiki. I mean, as long as you have, are able to get a text, you can get a text sent to you. Or even an email. I think that's how it works, email. Okay, not talking to me, not talking to me, not talking to me. Lauren says, LOL, I could make it happen. Oh, are you talking about the eggs, Lauren? That would be cool. Shane says, you guys are funny. Where's Boss B? I don't know who Boss B is. Rochelle Farm says, Lauren, you're the best. Oh, I see. I mean, I didn't say I would block her, but I could block her. I wonder who you're talking about. Okay, we already answered that question. Meltdowns during okay, no problem, Lauren. Yeah, I mean, I didn't know it either until I watched it, 3 or 4 times, and I caught that. I'm like, wow, that's cool that that's not recessive white. That's just part of the white from the EB. Not talking to us. Not talking to us. I TT'd. Kevin says, that's a good point. It is hard to know the egg turner is working when it cycles slowly. I made mine move slow, but I might want to change that. Does it matter to the egg how it is turned? You mean as far as like on the Lumia 16 where it goes, from one angle to the center to the other? I don't think it matters because, I mean, if it naturally, a hen would, roll the eggs around and move them, it's not going to be a smooth move, so. Oliver says, Terry, let's see you playing your guitar. You guys don't want to hear that. I drive my wife crazy when I do it. I crank the amp up really loud and it drives her nuts. And that's what they say, that the louder you play, the better it sounds. Let's see. James says, how do you control a mouse problem? I don't know where you have your birds. If they are outdoors and the mice are just, coming in from like around the cages, maybe getting into your feed or something, I don't know. I don't have problems with mice here. We used to have a rat issue outside, but I kind of took care of that. I mean, other than setting traps, I really don't know what you could do. Maybe get a cat. Donna says, thank you, Lauren. I don't think I have to worry about that. Maybe you're okay. I don't know what you're talking about. Mark says, yes, Kiki, inform us. There you go. Put poison out to kill mice or get a cat or 3. There you go. The only reason I didn't mention poison is that, they got those little green squares that you can put out and rats and mice will eat them and they'll go die somewhere from liver failure or whatever it is. I don't put them out anymore because squirrels eat them, and my wife feeds squirrels. So, yeah, I didn't want to kill any of the neighborhood squirrels. Lauren says, depending on what state you're in, personally, I'm not letting anyone in the barn, but I never do, LOL. I have too much money in birds to have the same thing happen. I'm the same way. When people come over, well, I haven't had anybody come over this year because I haven't been selling eating eggs, but they would come in the front part of the shop, which is sealed off from where I keep the birds. But now that's my incubator room, so they're not even coming there. They'll have to wait outside and let me go in and grab what I need. Adirondack says no eggs for me. Glenn Wells says grind up floating catfish food and add to the feed to increase protein. There you go. Kiki says, oh, I was breastfed so I don't get sick. There you go. Shane Thomas said, if somebody wanted to see my eggs, I would just give them a dozen and send them on their way. LOL. There you go. Black soldier fly larva is 35% protein. There you go. Maybe you could grind some of that up and add it to their feed. All right, Lauren says, headed to bed, folks. Long day painting. Be good, or I'll have to block Kiki when I get back. All right, Lauren, appreciate it. Thank you very much for joining us tonight, and thank you, as always, for your moderation duties. Okay, AI will kill quick. Lauren says, congrats to the winner when they are announced. I've already got them selected. I just haven't announced them yet. Again, for those who wanted to know the symptoms of AI: sudden death, lack of energy, appetite and coordination, purple discoloration and or swelling of various body parts, diarrhea, nausea. I don't think that's supposed to be NASA. BYC forum's not mine, just a very active member. Kiki, what day are you on with your eggs? Don't know. Let's see. Tiffany says, hey Terry, finally at my parents and showing my dad how to live chat. Thanks for the talk tonight. Absolutely. Listen the whole way home. Cool. Glad you could join us. Jumbo eggs are on day 4. Good luck, Kiki. Rainbow Magic Treasure Chest says, we've been through this. BYC is owned by Kiki. I would know. I own the Kiki. There you go. And Mark says Kiki owns BYC. We all kneel as she arrives. Rainbow Magic says, I do not. Kiki grovels at my feet, shedding a tear at the simple thought I am aware of her existence. AI cases can be seen here. I think she was getting ready to post a link. Maybe that'll... Marianne says, hi, on the Christmas lights you use on the cages, is that as a heat or light source? Do you use the larger light bulbs or the smaller ones? If I use regular light bulbs, what wattage should I use? Thank you. The Christmas lights, people, they don't really put off any heat, so they are used as a light source. If you're going to use a bulb, I would stick with something lower wattage, maybe a 25. You really don't need a lot of... you don't need a whole lot of light down there. Donna says, no, Terry, not talking about the eggs. LOL. Okay. Okay, Kiki said, I did not know they would send me text messages. Yeah, you get an email, Kiki. You don't get a text messages. It comes on my phone because I have Gmail set up on my phone. And that's where they send it to. So it comes in. It's kind of like a text message, but through Gmail. And Mark says, yes, you get an email. Kiki's going back to check the alert. Yes, we do. Okay, I'm skipping over some of these. Genuine Toe Tag says, so do I have to worry about my own chickens when having quail? Some people keep chickens in with their quail and don't have an issue. I myself wouldn't do it because I've heard that there are diseases that chickens tolerate really well, but it's deadly to quail. But also you would need to watch, like if your chickens are outdoors and your quail are indoor, just make sure you clean off your boots or your shoes before coming in. Or if they're all outside together, make sure they're separated, I would guess. I wouldn't keep them together. Sanford's Attic says smaller wire openings to keep mice out. There you go. Watkins Wildlife says, just wanted to tell Kiki hi from Luke. Oh, and hi, Terry. Hello. Hi, Luke. Okay, Donna says, good night, everyone. Maybe we'll have another funny story about my quails next week. Also, thank you about the influenza info. Mother Bear is going to keep everyone away from her quail. That's the best way to do it. Karen says, man, I'm back. My line bouncing like a yo-yo. You're not talking to me. Kiki has no idea how to find her own channel. Corey says, when can I expect to order hatching eggs? When can you expect to order hatching eggs? You can order them at any time. When can I expect to order hatching eggs? Whenever you're ready for them. Little Ridge Farm says, I know you're busy, Terry. Call me when you're available. No hurry. Thanks. This is Mark Wilson. I emailed you over. I was going to call you today, Mark, but I got tied up. And tomorrow I'm tied up all day. How about this weekend? How about if I make it on Saturday? The weekdays are kind of hard for me because I'm usually out running around. They are full of caca. All right. Watkins backyard chicken for Kiki. All right, cool. That brings us down to the bottom of our questions. So thank you guys for all your great questions and your comments. Let's see. I guess all that is left to do is announce the winner of the Hatching Time gift certificate. And that's going to go to Peg P. So Peg, if you are in the house, you're going to email me at terry@coturnixcorner.com. And I need your name, your email address, and your phone number. And I will forward that to Hatching Time, and they will set you up with the gift certificate. And the hatching eggs are going to Jackie Watkins. So Jackie, if you are in the house, I need your shipping information also sent to terry@coturnixcorner.com. Make sure you include, obviously, your address and a phone number. And I will... Oh, Peg's in the house? Good. So Peg, you've got that. Make sure you email me name, email address, and phone number to terry@coturnixcorner. And Jackie Watkins, same with you for the eggs. I need your shipping information and a phone number. And I will try to get your eggs out to you I'll probably ship them Monday. So that's it. I appreciate everybody joining us tonight. I see a whole bunch of comments coming in. Thank you for taking the time. Congratulations. Again, special thanks to Martin Yardley for putting the slideshow together for us and the voiceover and whatnot. Thank you to our moderators, Lauren and Henriette, for joining us tonight. Mark says, I'm a loser yet again. Mark, I'll send you some stuff. Don't worry about it. And also thanks to Hatching Time and Southwest Game Birds for helping support the channel. It is much appreciated. So guys, that's about it out of me. Join us this coming Friday for a Shop Talk Live series, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we're going to be doing probably something to do with water systems. Haven't made up my mind 100% yet, but I will post it over on Facebook. So again, guys, have a good night. Thanks again, and we'll see you Friday.